Host of the Katie Halper Show and co-host of the Useful Idiots podcast, Katie Halper joins us now to go over the memorable interview with Vice President Kamala Harris in CNN's Dana Bash. Welcome, Katie.
Thanks for having me. I wish I could get that interview out of my head, but it's too memorable.
It's the interview that will not die. First, Kamala Harris had this to say about the Democrats' abortion response.
What do you say to Democratic voters who argue, wait a minute, we worked really hard to elect a Democratic president and vice president, Democratic-led House, a Democratic-led Senate. Do it now.
But do what now? What now? I mean, listen, what we did, we extended the child tax credit for the first year.
Well, I'm sorry, when I say do what, do it now, act legislatively to make abortion rights legal.
We feel the same way. Do it now. Congress needs to do it now in terms of permanently putting in place a clear indication that it is the law of the land that women have the ability and the right to make decisions about their reproductive care, and the government does not have the right to make those decisions for a woman.
Katie, do what now? Was the question as vague as Kamala's response suggested it was?
I mean, no, they were sitting down to have an interview about the overturn of Roe v. Wade. And I really honestly don't know if Kamala Harris, it could go either way. She could be just a normal politician obfuscating the issues and kind of engaging in double talk, or she's so out of touch that she may not have actually known what she was asking her about. She did almost seem...
She's a worse than average political just kind of massager of talking points or something.
Right. I agree. I mean, it's like, I always think, who's worse, her or Joe Biden? They're both talented in different ways. He just has all these gaffes, and she's just a robot. So she won't even say enough to have a gaffe. You know what I mean? Everything is just coded and absolutely substance free. But Go ahead,
Katie.
If you look at her face, she did almost seem like she was genuinely like, it worked on both levels. Like, she was like, what on earth could we do? Or she was also like, wait, what are we do what now? Like, what are people asking for?
Yeah, that's the damning part, that it's almost this unintentional admission that there has not been a really robust conversation at the highest levels about what the options are for Democrats. You know, the interview goes on, and she says this about voting for Justices Gorsuch and Kavanaugh.
You were a senator when now Justices Gorsuch and Kavanaugh testified about many issues, including obviously Roe, at their confirmation hearings. Now Justice Gorsuch said it had been reaffirmed many times. Kavanaugh called it precedent on precedent. At that particular hearing, you were there. Some senators say that they intentionally misled the public and the Congress. What do you think?
I never believed them. I didn't believe them. That's why I voted against them.
Do you think that there's anything to be done now? I mean, they were under oath.
I think that, listen, it was clear to me when I was sitting in that chair as a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee that they were not, that they were very likely to do what they just did. That was my perspective, that was my opinion, and that's why I voted like I did.
All right, Katie, to me, that was a clear question about impeachment. Do you think they lied under oath and should be, as some have argued, be impeached? She had this little bit of a gully moment, like, "Oh, I didn't vote for them," you know.
I don't know them.
But what do you do about it at this point? Do you think that these justices should be impeached?
Well, what I think is interesting about her response is this, once again, just like the other clip where she's like, "Do what now? Do what now?" That's all the more inexcusable given that, as everyone knows, this opinion was leaked. Right? They knew it was coming, and she herself knew that these judges were lying. So she should have been that much more prepared as vice president to do something about it. Now, I think this is the time where you kind of like throw everything at the kitchen wall Is that the expression? Kitchen sink?
Yeah.
I'm not very
Throw the
domestic,
kitchen
so I don't
sink,
even know.
Bring the kitchen sink. We do something with the kitchen.
Yeah,
Throw
you
the
do some-
kitchen
yeah.
sink at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, right. Yeah. That's cool. I like that. But I mean, I don't know enough about you are the jurist, Brianna. I don't know what the it sounds good to me to impeach justices who lie under oath. Like, why not? That's not allowed for normal people.
But
You'd
I think
that
weren't their answers evasive enough to get out of the sort of trap that they directly, bald-facedly lie? It's just right. They said yes, it's precedent.
Right.
It is an important precedent. It's been a precedent for a long time. But
like
that
they're
doesn't mean
smart
we
enough.
can't
They are
overturn
smart
it, right?
enough to know how to
Yeah.
say something that won't be an obvious lie. Maybe I don't know. I'd have to review what they said.
Well,
But
there's an argument that even that soft peddling the issue and saying, oh, it's settled precedent, knowing that they're fully going to overturn it. Look, if they go
Right.
ahead and impeach them
Misleading.
for making that kind of statement, then perhaps, is there an argument that it would be a good thing of going forward during confirmation hearings? People are forced to be more forthright and not make those kinds of statements about, oh, well,
Right.
Brianna, are you going to rip up the paper? Oh, the paper's
Right.
yellow.
Yeah,
They give
right.
those kind of evasive answers that are,
right,
are
just say,
non-answers.
would you vote? You could say like yes or no. Would you vote to overturn Roe v. Wade? Yes or no. Answer the question, yes or no. But then again, who always comes in is Lindsey Graham. He's so great. He always swoops in and he's just like, "Are you a bigot? Do you hate women?" And gives them a chance to be like, "Nope, nope."
I don't think
Yeah.
you tried a Lindsey Graham accent enough for that. You got to say that again.
Are you a bigot?
What's the
That was not very good. That was not very good.
Really? I thought it was pretty good. Are you a bigot? Well, you can show me how to do it, Robbie.
All right. Well, accents aside, here's what the Veep had to say about the filibuster.
President Biden told my colleague Anderson Cooper he would be okay with eliminating the filibuster to pass voting rights and, quote, maybe more. Would you support eliminating the filibuster in order to pass federal legislation for abortion rights?
Right now, given the current composition of the Senate, the votes aren't there.
But
And
would you use
that's
the
what
bully pulpit to
but-
say, yes, I support it?
Well, here's the thing. I understand why you're asking the question, but the reality of it is we don't even get to really answer that in terms of whether it happens or not if we don't have the numbers in the Senate. And again, that's why I keep coming back to the importance of an election that is only 130 odd days away, because it really does matter.
So within the last hour or so, Joe Biden came out and said he did support getting rid of the filibuster to codify Roe. But going on in this interview, when asked about what Democrats can do right now with the power they have, this was Kamala Harris's response.
Can the administration expand abortion access or abortion services on federal land, meaning provide the access on federal land that might be in and around states that ban abortion?
I think that what is most important right now is that we ensure that the restrictions that the states are trying to put up that would prohibit a woman from exercising what we still maintain is her right, that we do everything we can to empower women to not only seek but to receive the care where it is available.
Is federal land one of those options?
I mean, it's not right now what we are discussing, but I will say that when I think about what is happening in terms of the states, we have to also recognize, Dana, that we are 130 odd days away from an election, which is going to include Senate races, right? Part of the issue here is that the court has acted, now Congress needs to act. But if you count the votes, don't appear to have the votes in the Senate. Well, there's an election happening in 130 odd days. I'm taking, for example, thinking of a Senate race in Georgia or North Carolina. There's the Senate race coming up just in a couple weeks in Colorado.
All right, Katie, what do you make of this?
Well, there's one thing to do about abortion rights, and that is vote. Vote for the Democrats so we can continue to not do anything about codifying abortion. But by the way, this is fascinating. Biden just changed his mind, I guess. He said that he'll have a filibuster carve-out for abortion. But Patrick Leahy is stepping out. So now it's a 49-50 Senate.
Yeah,
Really
and it
great
sounds
timing
to me
on
like
Biden's
he
part.
said, he said he would be willing to support it,
Right.
not that you should do it immediately, which is what I guess if you want abortion rights codified, you need Biden to actually like order Democrats
Right.
to do it, and that might not even work. But he won't.
Yeah.
He won't even go that far. So, but there's
Right.
an election in 132 days or what. She knows the exact
Yeah.
number
She says
of
that so
but
many
can't
times.
answer. But
Yeah, I
can't
know.
answer any
She's like,
other
and
question.
52 minutes, and 7 seconds. But the other thing I forgot to mention about Kamala mentioning the child tax credit, it's such a perfect response because, to be fair, they're going to need that if people are having babies against their will, if they're forced to carry pregnancies to term. So I guess that's helpful, except it expired. So even the thing that she points to as a victory,
Yeah,
because thanks to Joe Manchin, who they can't actually get to do anything because they don't act like the president and vice president.
it does seem to me that the way she keeps bringing up the time to midterms is an admission that nothing is more important to the Democratic Party, no matter how much
Right.
they hammer on about existential rights, than actually winning votes. And there is no foresight about whether or not throwing your most existentially threatened constituency under the bus is going to, in fact, make it more difficult for you to win those votes. And I'm not sure that their cost-benefit calculation there makes sense. It does feel like they're still going for some imaginary moderate voter who still wants to vote Democrat, but also doesn't care about actually getting women. You're hearing these stories coming out left, right, and center about women who are having delayed surgeries for their ectopic pregnancies because their doctors are worried about getting sued in the wake of this Dobbs decision, and on and on and on. It seems really short-sighted.
Which can kill you, obviously, an ectopic pregnancy.
Right. And every
yeah.
minute and hour is counting as these delays are racking up. And we'll see if. I hope this doesn't come about. Obviously, I'm not wishing for any tragedy, but it seems almost inevitable that we're going to start to hear stories that might also test the resiliency of Republicans in pushing for this and potentially a national
Right.
abortion ban, which some people are now talking about. I appreciate you somehow, Katie, bringing some levity to this topic.
Gotta laugh instead of cry.
Yeah.
Or do both. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And we will have more rising for you after this.